Okay, today is December 28th, 2017, Thursday, and we're looking at the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. Today in the foothills, currently we have a temperature of 73 degrees. The relative humidity is down at 17%. The dew point is 26 degrees, and the barometer is at 30.10 inches. And right now that's at 11:20 a.m. Okay. Right now we're looking at the water vapor loop for the northeast Pacific. We have a low pressure system right down here. That's confirmed on the 300 millibar map. And what do we see right here? A blockade of high pressure. This has been installed here in the last day and a half. I think the last video, we did a video on the 24th. And since that time, we had very, very heavy chemtrail spraying. We had a lot of tropical moisture winding around a high pressure that was set up down here to block and squash out this low right down here, which is still spinning. So what we're seeing now is just a channel of high pressure right here to block this northbound movement, so that will prevent the rain in the southwest. Also, we have a gale force system right here, which is being redirected by this installed stationary high pressure. And we can see some bands of moisture moving down through the state right there. Let's take a look at the western U.S. map. And we can see right here, this is a gale force system being forced to the north. We have chemtrails in the skies right now today, and we're going to see more of that as this moisture wraps around the low and drops back down. Today's Modus Today map is not yet processed, but we do have an image from, I believe this is yesterday. Let's take a look. I think this is December 27th. Yeah, that's yesterday's map. Now, yesterday we had some very clear weather in the morning hours. That quickly changed. We see that of course, the reason, once again, if we go back to the big map, is this channel of high pressure to block all this northbound moisture from this low. So that's why we had the clear skies yesterday. Today we can see that the high pressure is wrapping some of this moisture around and back down into our area, and that's why the jets are out spraying. But getting back to the Modus Today, we can see that yesterday there was a lot of moisture. We see the brilliant white right here. That is the natural clouds right down here. All this stuff is natural clouds of water vapor. And then we see this off-white gray haze. This is the chemtrail haze. You can see the streaks right here. These are fresh trails that were probably laid 10, 15, 20 minutes prior to the photograph being taken. So we see the distinct color difference. We have natural water vapor laden clouds here in this band, and then we have this gray stuff, this gray crap, which is the chemical desiccant chemtrail haze. Okay, so we can see that all of that was sprayed over mostly the Mexican territory there, the Baja California, Mexico, and the main part of Mexico, as well as the southern part of Arizona right down here. So we have the Salton Sea, we have San Diego, and there's really no clouds in the skies at all when this photograph was taken yesterday. All right, so we see that the blockade is doing its work. If we get back to this other map, we can see that this blockade of high pressure, that's man-made. That is preventing all this moisture from moving in and delivering rain. And by this time last year, on this date last year, we had almost 7 inches of rain recorded. Just to give everybody an idea of what's happening right now. So we've had 0.38 inches. That's about 3/8 of an inch, a little over 3/8. 3/8 is 375. So we've had about 3/8 of an inch of rain. And again, last year at the same time in this area, we had almost 7 inches of rain. Somewhere right around that. Okay, we can see the high pressure here, installed stationary high pressure. We've got all this moisture moving in, and we have a band of moisture moving right down through California. So as the hours progress today in the afternoon, we're going to see a lot more spring as this approaches the Southern California skies. And we can see that band of high pressure down here, which was installed right here. We can see that. Look at the opening here, the evaporation pattern right there. All through here, they've engineered a blockade to prevent any of this moisture from getting in. We can see that. Also, this area right here. So there's plenty of opportunities for rain. It's just being stopped by these terrorists that are controlling our weather. And the puppets on TV, they are complicit. The networks, the corporations, the networks that run our nation's media. I'm talking about ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, and all the rest. Disney, Infinity. All these corporations are working together to prevent this information from getting out. The fact that we have man-made high pressure going in, stationary high pressure, blockades, separate one system from another. All this is being hidden from the public's knowledge. And that is deliberate, because there is a scheme known as climate change. The corporate media's version of climate change is that everyone should start paying taxes because carbon dioxide is causing climate change. We have the people in Hollywood that are peddling this information, which is false. We can clearly see what's going on here. Every single opportunity for rain in the Southwest is being stopped. And nobody's talking about this on the media, on television. The weather puppets that are doing the reporting are ignoring this evidence. They'd rather collect a paycheck. It's just amazing that this is going on so long without any exposure, besides this channel and a few others. And once again, the chemtrail spraying has zero to do with solar radiation management. That's a cover story, because the aerosols are sprayed at night. And again, it's a cover story, and it blends nicely with the corporate media, their version of climate change, which is all about global warming. And so the people over at Geoengineering Watch, I'm not sure why you people are not discussing or evaluating the evidence here about the chemtrail spraying and why they're spraying at night, because that turns the solar radiation management argument upside down. Solar radiation management has nothing to do with what we're observing. In other words, the weather instruments are telling us one thing, and then we're hearing about solar radiation management. It doesn't fit with the evidence. There's no reason to be spraying chemtrails at night if you're managing solar radiation. In fact, clouds cap the heat in the atmosphere. In fact, that's contradictory. The solar radiation management argument is a contradictory argument, because the chemtrails, we know already from the weather instruments that when they spray and cap the atmosphere with that blanket of chemtrails, that holds the heat. And not only that, but it prevents the lift in the atmosphere. And so when you don't have any lift in the atmosphere, you can't have precipitation. You have to have lift in order to have precipitation. And so that's what the chemtrails are all about. And they have nothing to do with solar radiation management. So I'd like to hear Mr. Wigington, who has done a lot of good work, but we need to hear from him specifically address the chemtrail spraying and why he is sticking to this solar radiation management argument and theory. It's just a theory. There's nothing to back up. There's no proof. That is, the weather instruments and the evidence do not validate the solar radiation management theory. And so we want to hear from Mr. Wigington explain that because solar radiation management has nothing to do with chemtrail spraying. All right, let's look at some of these other maps. Here's the surface analysis map. We see the west coast. High pressure is installed right here to block this low. This will be forced to the northeast. We've got another bigger system up off of Canada. This is all being forced to the northeast. Here we have a trough shown. We should be having cool temperatures right now. We're expecting 82 degrees today in the Southern California area. If we look at the Doppler radar map, we see that there's no rain in the southwest. There's a bit of green right here near the border. But this is amazing. We have been very, very dry. Let's take a look at the surface map, surface level pressure map. Got high pressure installed right here. We've got this low right next door. Can't get through to deliver rain. There's actually a low down here shown on the other maps. Got a low here, low there. None of this is getting into the southwest. Here's the 500 millibar. We see the high pressure here. We've got a squiggly line isobar there that indicates some manipulation. High and low pressure, we see some descending air. Right here we can see that isobar is all distorted looking. That should not look like that. All these isobars should have smooth flowing lines unless you're manipulating pressures, and that's exactly what's happening here. There are satellite-based transmitters that are forcing descending air into this area, and that's what's causing this. Let's look at the 300 millibar map. We have this low right down here, which is blockaded by that thin, narrow, high-pressure installation. That's going to prevent all this from moving north. And so what they're doing right here with these squiggly lines is they're installing high pressure in this area. They're maintaining that grid of high pressure. You see the low down here again on the 500 millibar map, and all these squiggly lines. All right. Okay, so that's what's happening today. Get back here to the big map, and we see that narrow channel of high pressure, which is just blocking everything. All this tropical moisture is being blocked. We've got record cold temperatures in the Midwest, and looking at minus 30 degrees up in Minnesota and around up near the Great Lakes. Okay, so that's it. We'll just leave it right here and do another update later.